How'd Niv go? The Niv deck was pretty medium. It still had people going over the top of it, and it got thoroughly thrashed by mono red. We played any control decks in Mythgard. Yeah, last session we played a 3-color control deck. Was I think it was yellow. It was yellow, green, blue. Hey, Distortion, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hooklandia. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. These people are great. Buy their stuff. Yeah. Standard is basically which Oko deck you want to play for the most part. You thought about revisiting Dota Underlord since they're ready to release? I just don't have enough time in the day, Sir Elks. Maybe if Pioneer hadn't just released, but like with Pioneer releasing and wanting to make time for Mythgard 2, like there's just not enough hours in the day to play all the games that I want to play on stream. I've got a huge backlog of Pioneer decks at this point. So any extra time I have on stream is definitely going to be going to filling those out so we can explore that format. Expect no mercy MTG. Your Twitch settings do not allow me to direct message you a Mythgard code. Where do you enter the Mythgard code on mobile? In the store page. Unless you're on iOS, and then you take your iOS device and you throw it in the garbage, and you go get a real Android phone, and then you can enter it on your Android phone. If you're on iOS, you need to log into it on the desktop. Because iOS doesn't let people plug in codes on their devices for whatever reason. But you have my expensive phone. Yeah, you can also use the browser version. So if you don't have a computer you can install it on, you can literally just go to mythgardgame.com and log in the web browser to enter the code, which is great. You can play the full game in any web browser. Well, in Google Chrome at least. I don't know about inferior browsers, but it works in Google Chrome. Bing? Does it work with Bing? All right. Blue-green self-mill. Today on the smorgasbord of which Oko decks are we playing in Oko the rotating format. We've got Geese, Grazer, Okos. We got plenty of turn 2 Okos. We've got Risen Reef, Cavalier of Thorns, Tamiyo, Jace, and then Quasiduplicate to copy these things to draw through our deck. And then we can potentially win with Jace's alt-win tech sometimes. We also have Agent of Treachery at our top end that we can ramp up into since we're a ramp deck at our core. And you can Quasiduplicate Agent of Treachery a bunch as a way to beat other mid-range decks too. Cavalier of Thorns is a little bit medium overall in the format where Oko is everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if this card is a little bit of a letdown. But let's play some matches and see how this goes. Could be good, could be bad. If you lose because you mill yourself out, I'll give some subs. Sounds good. Get some upside with our downside. Because this archetype doesn't have Nexus of Fate anymore, there is a very real chance that we mill ourselves out and don't have a Jace. Because like previous standard formats, you would just like have Nexus of Fate to mill into, but like we don't have that option anymore. All right, I'm going to keep this one because we have Once Upon a Time. I'm going to bottom Agent of Treachery, I think. What happens if you Quasiduplicate an Elked Cavalier of Thorns? I believe you get the base creature. I believe you get the base creature. Have you looked at Legends of Runeterra? My thoughts on Legends of Runeterra is I would encourage you to Google Riot and learn more about them as a company. And if you have any sort of moral compass, you probably won't play Riot games or give them money. My damn moral compass gets in the way of so many things. It did the really nice things about Legends of Runeterra is it showed us how many people in the CCG community have no moral compass, because like the number of people who are like condemning Blizzard for what they did that then like jumped right on top of Legends of Runeterra is laughable. Yep, the outrage culture, the fake outrage is really obnoxious. Just become a Republican. Well, I don't even think a lot of them even classify as that, Rabner. I think they're just like, there's like, a lot of them are probably really uninformed and just don't understand. Like, a lot of people probably don't even understand why that comparison I just said makes sense, right? I'm gonna bottom that. Man, it's been a while since I've had 2 Risen Reefs in play. I forgot how good that trigger feels. Why is Riot terrible? God, just Google it. Google Riot lawsuit. And then past the Riot lawsuit. But Riot is wholly owned by China. It's wholly owned by China. Like, Riot not only has a crappy background of, like, sexual harassment in the workplace, but if you had a problem with the China thing with Blizzard, you should also have a problem with Riot. Like, it's wild. I think we're dying, chat. I think we're dying. I guess I'm just Cavalier of Thorns before I do this, because I just need a big blocker. Woof. Well, at least we milled over a Quasiduplicate, I guess. Removal spells are cheating, yep. Based on your viewership trends, would you say your popularity is tied to a specific game, your presentation, or a streamer, or is a bit of both? I'm definitely a Magic streamer. I'm a single game streamer. My numbers when streaming non-Magic games tend to be a lot lower. Although the Mythgard numbers have been pretty good, which has been nice because I've been enjoying that game. My numbers streaming non-Magic card games tend to be higher than just generic games, but in general tend to see the most from. I'm sure there's a number of people that came over from Hex. So I'm going to decline putting this into play because I can play it and then fetch with it, which is great. And then I think I'm just going to draw 2 with Risen Reef here. I mean, I also just, like, don't play that many non-card games off stream. Like, I used to play Overwatch on occasion before Blizzard decided to bend over in front of China. And, like, I occasionally play Killing Floor 2 on Steam a little bit, but, like, most of what I play off stream are also card games. Like, believe it or not, after I stream and work on card game stuff for 8 or 9 hours, I, like, play Mythgard and stuff off stream. When Magic standard format doesn't suck, I play Arena off stream occasionally, too. Like, I turn down game sponsor stuff all the time because I prefer to only play games I like on stream, but I was excited when Mythgard wanted to sponsor me because, like, I play their game a bunch off stream. So, like, was like, yep, happy to have an excuse to play that one more on stream. How expensive is MTGO to play aside from the card cost? It costs $10 per league and $10 to make an account. If you don't get at least 2 wins in your league, you get $0 back. Yeah, $10 to make an account. Yeah, Magic Online is okay, and this is actually one of the reasons why Wizards doesn't like to work with me, because I talk about this all the time. For those not familiar, Magic Online is literally online gambling. Magic Online, you can sell your digital objects for cash, and there's a full buy, sell, trade secondary market where the prizes you're winning, you can turn into real dollars. When I was in grad school, I frequently cashed $200 to $300 a month out of Magic Online. So they removed the fee for account creation, but you still need to buy an account to effectively do anything relevant on the platform. You have to like pay to upgrade to do anything meaningful. Moto downtime is supposed to last till 2 p.m. Central, Hippity. It is a quality piece of software. There is a reason why Wizards pushing more and more people towards Magic Online is not something people who like both are really excited about. Blizzard has banned Winnie the Pooh costumes from BlizzCon. But their decisions have nothing to do with China. Banned Winnie the Pooh costume, but that decision has nothing to do with China, chat. Nothing to do with China. Holy crap. Holy crap. All right, so for people that aren't up on world politics memes, a meme is comparing the dictator who's in charge of China to Winnie the Pooh, and he hates being compared to Winnie the Pooh. So if you call him Winnie the Pooh, he gets upset like a giant man-child. I think I made a mistake 2 turns ago when I quasi-duplicated this. I think I'm dead here, right? I think we're exactly dead. Yeah, what I should have done was I should have copied my Cavalier so I could pressure this Ral better, is what I should have done. We're very close to stabilizing there. Just wanted to confirm everything settled for the Yarak kit. I didn't see a donation for that, Frantic Reverend. Can you send me a confirmation? I saw you said you donated for it, but I did not see any donations come through yesterday for it. If you can email me with the PayPal receipts, I'd appreciate it. So I can confirm what's missing on my end. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jack. All right, what am I doing here? Is Mystical Dispute good? Cerulean Drake's great. Actually, Aether Gust sounds good. I probably want to trim some of my top end. Agent of Treachery seems really slow. Tamiyo's probably clunky. My opponent's deck's kind of aggressive. I wonder, Hydroid Krasis, Krasis is probably the extra card. Although it does gain me life. Yeah, Krasis is probably better than Tamiyo. All right, let's do that. To the Chinese gulag, how dare you insult CCP? Yeah, we're never. I personally am never traveling to China. I will end up in a black bag somewhere. That would not be ideal. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. We got Gust on the play. Thanks for the tip, Ian. Happy to get Atarka's commands going in the new format. Mythgard on my cell phone runs smoother than Magic Arena on my 1080 GTX, which is all you need to say. I'm just like casting this in my first opportunity, just like want to slow them down. Yeah, I think people who say like the world's more messed up every day, I actually think the world's a little bit less messed up today than it was, 50 years ago. We're just more aware of the bad things that are happening. There's more news. There's more access to information. I'm going as Joe Pesci cosplaying my cousin Vinny the Pooh. Mill 2 good spells, draw a land, just Magic the Gathering things. Mill 2 good spells, draw a land. Considering polio is nearly eradicated, I agree with Jeff. There's no smallpox and slightly less measles aside from the last couple of years. Yeah. Oh, measles. Maybe someday we'll be fully rid of measles. Vaccinate your children, people. Vaccinate your children, please. I like your kids. I would like to see them grow up. Please get them vaccinated. And if you don't believe in vaccinating your children, feel free to pipe up in chat so I can ban you for being stupid. I would love to ban you for being stupid. HowVaccines.CauseAutisms.org is a great URL. If you haven't visited that one before, it's definitely worth a click. Definitely worth your 30 seconds to click. I don't believe in timeouts. Well, thankfully for you, your belief doesn't impact what actually happens. All right. I mean, that's a bunch of Aether Gust. I showed that link to my wife, and it's a good link. Both my children are vaccinated. I'd like to celebrate with a timeout. Good on you. Good on you. Always happy to celebrate. I think it doesn't ult till 8. Why does my Planeswalker take so long to ultimate? It's awfully gusty in here, yep. Hold on, folks, I'm gonna do it again. We're not even fully rid of polio. That's, yeah, people make bad decisions. Well, if we find a creature, chat, it's gonna be duplicated to nobody's business. We milled 2 good creatures and then drew a land. I love Magic the Gathering. It is so much fun. Why do you do this to me, Magic? Why do you test me? What did I do to you? Good golly. Hit me, dealer, hit me. Duplicate the sloth. All right, but now I don't have a Jace, chat. I think I've made a terrible mistake. I think there's a chance I made a terrible mistake. Good on you, Chase. So I'm gonna avoid playing Cavalier for now because I do need to draw another Jace here. But we have 2 more Jaces in our deck, so we should hopefully be able to do that with all these Risen Reef triggers. Will Nexus be good in Pioneer? It depends on... No, I just have a second copy of Jace in my deck. So I boarded out the Tamiyos, but I have a second Jace. So it's not that big of a deal. We're gonna be actually like with these Quasiduplicates and the Risen Reefs, we're gonna actually be able to just like draw our entire deck mostly. I mean, like, meta is what defines formats, right? Like, things aren't individually powerful. Like, you can't really evaluate Magic cards in vacuums because vacuums for Magic cards power level don't exist. Like, everything is context dependent. In fact, trying to evaluate cards in vacuums is how you get people thinking Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor were too good for Modern. Counter target spell that targets you. That one. If Pioneer doesn't lead to a myriad of Oregon Trail memes, I'll be very disappointed. Me too, now that I think about it. I'm a doctor, and I support your stance on vaccines. It's one of the reasons why I sub. Thanks for keeping me around here, Q. All right, so 15 cards left in the deck. I think I can Cavalier at this point. Oh, right. Cavalier draws 9. All right. We're not going to deck out, but I definitely wasn't thinking about the fact that I was about to draw 9. I was thinking 5. That's fine, though. We're going to be okay. Oh, man. We have to discard the hand size, chat. Unlucky. 5 cards left in our deck. I, for one, am excited for Jace to die to Fry and for us to lose to decking. That's definitely about to happen. Remember that time my 4-mana Planeswalker upticked and died to Fry, but my 3-mana Planeswalker upticked and didn't die to Fry? Pepperidge Farm remembers, chat. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Wow, rude. That's true. That's true. If Jace gets fried, we get some sub gifts. I'm excited to see what you go up with red-black mid-range for Pioneer. I'm also concerned it won't be good enough because we don't have rancid cards like Blood Moon. Yeah, it's going to have to actually be like a card advantage deck, right? I think Murderous Rider is actually going to be really good in the black mid-range decks in Pioneer. Think Murderous Rider sounds super appealing. Hey, they tapped out. We did it. Lawbringer, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hooglandia. Hope you're having an excellent Wednesday wherever you are. My Drake's better than your Drake. My Drake's better than your Drake. Neener, neener, neener. I'm alone. There's no one here beside me. Why doesn't that have an animation? Anybody else sad that there was no animation? Everyone sad? Good. Good. You should be sad. You should be incredibly sad. Do I want Mystic Disputes here? Feel like I probably don't. I'm tapping out a lot. Tap, tap, tapping out. Tap, tap, tapping out. Do, 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 do. In. We did see Tails end off that mill, which is good to know. That's why I milled them there, so we get a little bit more information. It's a card to think about while we're playing. That's not what I asked for. Oh, MTG bot. Bottom of land tier, I've already got 4. Plus Gilded Goose. Do 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 boo. All right. You know what? You know what's an interesting thought? Would it be weird what if this card was the exact same as it is now, but it also said you can't play this card turn 1 if you were on the play? Like, would that balance cards like these if they just let you catch up on the draw? Sure, it would be good. It would be good against aggro, but like that's fine, right? Like having a card that helps you against aggro. Are they about to end our tail? Wow. Sure, I'll keep my 5/6. What a release ready product. What a fantastically release ready product that we have here. Definitely not a product that was rushed out to release long before it should have been to meet an arbitrary shareholder deadline. Definitely something that was ready to ship out to market and is incredibly stable and reasonable. Disco ball. We have a vine-filled disco ball. Do 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 do. Boop boo doo 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 doo. All right, I bet when we play the second one, it's gonna end it. I hope. I'm hoping and praying. All right, playing the second Cavalier fixed it. God bless. Bless up. What did someone ask me? Hey, there was a question there. To be fair, no one's played Tailshead before. May not be played on the first. No, I think you should be allowed to play it if you're on the draw on the first turn. To the person with the username Mono White Disappointment who just messaged me asking for a Mythgard code, I just want you to know I appreciate your username. I don't have time to type out to you that I appreciate your username, but I want you to know that I do. Oh, first turn of the game. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Okay, yeah, that is a distinction. What if Grazer had the same text but was like banned in standard? Yeah, something like that. To get a Mythgard code, just drop me a direct message on Discord or Twitch. And today's the last day that I have Mythgard codes. So if you've been thinking about getting one and dragging your feet, my codes all expire after today. So to quote Shia LaBeouf, just do it. If you're someone that enjoys card games, you'll probably not be disappointed with Mythgard. It's pretty good. That's a nice elk. Of course, Mythgard can be played on mobile. It's a game that was developed by a small indie company. So they support mobile, they support OS X. They have a 2v2 mode and social features. They're going to have in-client tournament support coming this December according to their roadmap. These are only features you can pump out if you have a small, dedicated team that doesn't have access to a lot of money. You can play in your web browser without installing anything. To give everyone an idea, I'm 2 mythic short of the deck I want to build from Jeff's code and the storyline rewards. That's sick, Bill. Yeah, the code's super generous. It gives you like 10 booster packs plus wild cards. I was honestly surprised it gave as much as they did. Usually intro codes for games are not that. Don't give that much. Well, yeah, I mean, anyone that's able to get any kind of project off the ground has some amount of funding, Jin. I should probably take the time to make a Mythgard intro video. I'll probably do that this weekend. I go over the basics of the game and basically every time I stream it to start. So like, if you watch a lot of my videos, I break down the differences and the key details at the start of the videos. They're redeemed in the store page, unless you're on iOS, in which case you redeem it by logging into a real device or loading it up in your web browser. You can do the intro pack for 10 bucks and the treat code. They overlap. I love when I'm not the target of Jeff's sarcastic shade. Sarcastic shade's always best when it's directed at someone else, right? Man, it's been so long since I've cast Risen Reef. I forgot how good this card is. And turn two Risen Reef is, you know, in a world... You get a code by direct messaging me. In a world where, like, Historic isn't a throwaway forgotten format, Risen Reef would probably be pretty sweet. How about turn 2 Broko? Sounds sweeter. Can we play Yarok Elementals in this new format? Yeah, maybe, Scholar. It depends on how brutal it is. There's also the possibility that we can just, like, play enough interactive elements like Thoughtseize and stuff that, like, we can play through how brutal it is. Because, like, with Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, you're probably going to have a lot of interaction. 3 frags, Marty. Your Twitch settings don't currently allow me to send you direct messages back. Same thing for Kellyto. There's a lot of people who don't have Twitch settings that allow me to do that. Wonder if they're playing Once Upon Aristocrats. Looks like they might be. I think I want to just... Do I elk this? I think I want to elk this, because it's going to pressure Oko regardless, and I'd prefer they don't draw cards. Although our hand kind of sucks at the moment, so maybe I'm supposed to let cards happen. That was for mono black cards. Thank you, I appreciate it. It'll get added after we're done today. You seem fed up with Magic as a whole these days. No, I'm not fed up with Magic. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't, like, on Monday, when we took a break to play Mythgard early, I was pretty frustrated that day. So, like, when I'm sick of Magic, I stop playing, right? Like, if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here. I don't play games when I'm just mono annoyed. I would stop playing donation decks and play decks that I think are better. I don't think Stealing Crusader is very good, so I don't think I want, like, their deck is probably better at leveraging lots of cards. Average Joe, I would ask that you please never in my channels use the word retard in the derogatory sense like the way you just did there. If you do it again, you will be banned. I was hoping to find a Quasiduplicate there. Swung and miss, unfortunately. Let's make this a 3-3, I think.
Oh, dear.
To all of the people who dropped me a bunch of whispers looking for Mythgard codes, there's a bunch of them now. I will send them out after I'm done streaming today, so it won't be for a little while. I want to take a break from actually streaming to distribute codes. And yeah, you don't have to wait for a code to play. They have feature decks that you can play right away with without putting any dollars in, which are great. Also, even if I am kind of annoyed with WotC, the perfect response to me being kind of annoyed with WotC is definitely me promoting someone else's game while streaming Magic, right? Like, hey, sick of WotC treating Arena like some kind of reject program? Try out this other game. It's similar and much better. The software surrounding it is much better. I'm gonna grab Cavalier here. I kind of want to draw actual cards with Risen Reef, but like the threat of another Mayhem Devil makes Risen Reef really unappealing. If I had a red line of sorts with WotC. I mean, Wizards of the Coast has always kind of treated me like garbage. They just basically just straight up ignore me and don't give me any respect, so. And in part, they don't give me any respect or pay any attention to me because when they make decisions like they've made surrounding Arena recently, I'm honest and call them out on it. They don't like working with people that can constantly point out when they step in it. When did I get on their poop list? I have no idea. I've been pointing out that Magic Online is online gambling and talking about things I like that they don't like that they do for, I don't know, the better part of a decade almost.
Better than having a plan. Basically, anything.
Your Oko is bleeding into your real life with an elk stack. Oh, that's great. I mean, and to be fair, at the very least, they don't go full Blizzard, right? Like, they could realistically ban me if they really wanted to, right? And they don't do that. So at least they didn't go full Blizzard. Never go full Blizzard, chat. All right, I think I name Risen Reef on this one. Because I already have 2 Cavaliers. We missed on Risen Reef, but we had a Quasiduplicate, so that's great. I'm just not sure why they go out of the way to promote Arena as the future magic, only to turn around and essentially nudge people back towards Moto. Yeah, I agree. It's really strange. Maybe I should get a Winnie. You know, I've been torn on what I'm supposed to do for Halloween this year. A Winnie the Pooh costume might be the perfect. Should I find an adult-sized Winnie the Pooh costume? Yeah, you can install Mythgard through Steam on the desktop. Walmart has them for 15 bucks. God bless. All right, so I can attack here, and if they want to double block this, I get, I think I ditched an Agent of Treachery, right? Well, there's still other goodies in here. You get a Hydroid Krasis.
I am not happy right now.
You can't boycott everything that has any sort of relation to China whipping rhinos. They're just they're too large and have too many things. There's a big difference between something that's randomly made in China and like American companies who are actively punishing people for talking about what happens there. Like that, what you're doing there is a false equivalency. It's taking something that's being done to an illogical extreme. An anonymous subgifter. Well, whoever you are, Mr. Spooky Subgifter, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for the support. Would elking the oven be a consideration? I mean, maybe. It depends on what their board looks like. With their current board, elking the oven didn't really accomplish anything. All right, so Tamiyo's kind of funny against their priests. Is Aether Gust good enough here? Veil of Summer, they're going to bring in a whole bunch of noxious whatevers against us, right? So Veil of Summer is just busted. No, never go full Blizzard is a reference to, is it crazy to cut Risen Reef here? I feel like it's not, because it just dies to Mayhem Devil. I think I'm going to cut Risen Reef and bring in 2 Gusts. Thanks for the 18-month swingy. I appreciate that. Welcome back. It also, by cutting the Risen Reef, their claims become a little bit worse. Although I'm leaving in Hydroid Krasis, which is still pretty good, which is still pretty bad against that. Let's draw a 3-drop. Have I decided on a deck for this weekend's MCQ? I have no idea. I think Red-Black Oven, I think the deck our current opponent's playing is towards the top of my list, but I also think that their deck just like randomly eats it to food decks maybe a little bit too often. The 4-color Oven deck that we're playing last today in today's standard portion is a deck I'm considering playing as well, just because it has sweet Oven stuff, but it also just gets to play Oko, because not playing Oko in this format is probably incredibly wrong. The Mythgard codes are good through tomorrow, so they expire tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time. I should probably find that out. What am I naming here? What's a 4 of that I don't have yet?
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Swing and a miss. Should have named Broco. It should be under social settings. Maybe it's because you're marked as offline. It should be under social settings in your Twitch stuff though. Murder, she wrote. Yep. Let's ramp it up. I'm downloading Mythgard and it's making you buffer. I feel sorry for your internet. Can confirm it's not because you're listed as offline. That's good to know. Did we find a Veil of Summer yet? Not yet. Let's start with this. Guess I start there. If you're a sub who's having a hard time with getting the direct messages to work, you can also message me on Discord if you're a sub. Yeah, I'd actually be kind of surprised if Aetherworks Marvel is very good in Pioneer. I think the energy package as a whole is probably going to get largely outclassed. I also think between Oko, Pithing Needle, Sorceress Spyglass, and some other things, it's not going to be great. 3 mana Teferi as well slows it down. You can play Mythgard directly in your web browser. Literally go to mythgardgame.com and load it up there. All right, discard this. Once Upon a Time. Having Veil of Summer up to protect our Quasiduplicate target feels really good. Yeah, this card is very responsible for a big reason why green is overbearing in the current standard format. And it honestly really makes me wonder, like, did they test some of these cards? Like, it feels like they did. I know they did, but it doesn't feel like it. Calling this card Cryptic Command is an insult to Veil of Summer because this card is a lot better than Cryptic Command in the matches where you bring it in. I think food decks should be running Once Upon a Time. Yeah, probably. I think if it came out on mobile, you would definitely have cross-platform accounts. I think it is very unlikely that Arena ever comes to mobile. The Arena can barely run on my desktop computer. Expecting it to be optimized to run on my phone is silly. I linked you a Pooh costume. Hope it helps. Sounds excellent. Target player sacrifices a Planeswalker. Resolves. Wub, wub, wub. Resolves. To be fair, there's probably a very good chance they just didn't have better plays there. Like, our deck randomly lines up very well into what they're doing. Tamiyo's absurd. How do you feel about cutting Once Upon a Time post-sideboard, or is it still good? I think you're supposed to trim Once Upon a Time in the event that you're boarding in a lot of cards that it doesn't find. So if you're bringing in a lot of instants and sorceries, I don't think it's unreasonable to trim some number of Once Upon a Time. This hand's great. We're going to go Grazer, land, then we can Risen Reef on 2. I mean, again, to be fair, we don't know that their last opponent made mistakes. They might have just, like, their only out was hoping I didn't know how my cards worked. Like, we've all been there before, right? You're like, well, the line is hope they don't know how their cards work. Hoping the client is broken is definitely an out. Good luck in the rest of your league. The rest of your set, Mr. New England. It's a tough matchup for your deck for sure. Who's got 2 thumbs and is ready to get Deafening Clarion next turn? This guy right here. It's a shame this didn't hit a land, so I couldn't play this turn. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Do 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 do. Didn't hit a Quasiduplicate there. Feels bad, man. How do you direct message on Twitch? You click my name. How did that make you feel? I am incredibly sad that Field of the Dead being banned makes these control decks full of sweepers more playable, because they kind of suck to play against. First time I can get you live in a while. Changed jobs and cannot work from home anymore. Love your content, your amazing website. Thanks for keeping me around, Fragabo. You'll have a sword now when you're here. Thanks for the 12 months. You said never go full Blizzard. Well, I don't know what the you never go full X is in reference to, but never go full Blizzard is implying that you don't like bend over to China like Blizzard did. Unfortunate we didn't hit an untapped land there. If we would have hit an untapped land, we could have quasi-duplicated this right away, which would be good. Weapons of Mass Gaming, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Don't worry, I got this.
Tropic Thunder is full of jokes that didn't age well because they were bad jokes. Dark Wolf, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. I'll be sending out codes for Mythgard this afternoon. I'm planning to stream till about 2 or 3 o'clock or so. So probably 4 or 5 o'clock I'll send out codes today. And again, you can play the game without a code. The codes are just for extras.
This isn't a fight you can win. Here we go.
Well, I guess not super punished for not being able to quasi-duplicate, huh? Since they had another thing anyways. Ooh. All right. All right, well, we are successfully self-milling. I would love a Risen Reef. Have we hit a Jace in the bin yet? Wow, we've not hit a Jace yet, huh? All right, well, there's 2 Jaces in our deck still. How close are we to decking? We got 26 cards, halfway there. Oh, we're halfway there. Do. My board is dead now. Fae of Wishes, gonna kill my stuff. Is this deck playable without Nexus Fate? I don't know. It's definitely worse. We're 2-0 in this set, though. Just like blue-green good stuff is good. We're still just like a turn 2 Oko deck, right? Garrick. Okay, I mean that... I was expecting, like... I guess casualties wasn't even that good there. So that makes sense that they're getting something else. I feel like we're in a pretty okay spot at the moment, though, right? We'll lead on this and see where we go. And they can't... They've forced themselves to play Hearthstone here. Like, they can't play on my turn, so... We get to quasi-duplicate our way through these. I'm going to decline this because I would like to draw this card. Casual draw 3, no big deal. There's a Jace, fantastic. I tried playing mono black Oko, but I'm having trouble making it work. Rough. Sure. 19 cards in our deck. I assume they're chumping both of these. I also assume our board's getting swept next turn. If he emblems here, can we win? Yeah, I think so.
This might be a bad idea.
I guess they could double Cavalier us. If they emblem plus double Cavalier, we could just die, I suppose. Is that their best play? That seems good for me. Oh. Less good for me. Good morning, Mr. Missouri. Oh, wait. That one.
We are relentless.
So... do I take their fires? I don't think so. I think I'm just taking Garrick. The only thing I'm missing for Magic is higher quality flavor text. Yeah.
You cannot run or hide.
All right, 19 cards left in my deck. I think I'm playing Tamiyo and plussing here.
I am Tamiyo. It is an honor to meet you.
And I think I'm naming... I think I'm just, like, looking for the last Quasiduplicate.
I know I noted this somewhere.
This can't bounce Planeswalkers, AGH. I'm playing the Once Upon a Time Splash and Aristocrats decks. And I think it's a mistake. For every opening hand I get to keep a Covenant, it's the least of many lose-out games because of added inconsistency and fewer threats that you can run. I think your assessment's way off base there, Primus. Like, the only time it adds inconsistency is if you draw Once Upon a Time and can't cast it. And in my experience, you can basically always cast it late when you draw it. So, like, if you can cast it late when you draw it, it's perfectly reasonable.
Stay back. I'm an
And, like, it gives you more threat density because it finds all of your threats.
I will not.
I wonder if they're not playing Planar Cleansing, because that's a lot worse than Planar Cleansing, I agree.
I've got it.
Yeah, they must not have it, right? That's a sweet draw.
Stay on the trail.
All right, there's only 4 cards left in our deck here. And we've got this Jace. So, you know, go. Hey, Mark, I appreciate the Twitch Prime support. Hope you're having an excellent Wednesday wherever you are. Thanks for keeping me around. Dead to Ashiok. That's actually true. That's actually true. We don't lose to Fry because they can't cast spells on my turn because they're playing Hearthstone. So they lose. We play this, we mill ourselves, we play Jace, we win. They can't cast another spell this turn because they're playing this awful card. Thanks, I appreciate you, opponent. Hey, Netterjack, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
We'll make this look easy. Let's think this.
Should have gotten Fabled Passage for the rub-in. All right, so Disdainful Stroke sounds great here. Mystic Dispute's probably fine too, honestly. They have enough blue stuff. I don't know if I want Aether Gust or not. What am I trimming here? Is ramp less important and I don't mind slowing down? I feel like I might trim Gilded Goose. It's just a ramp spell that gets swept away. And I feel like this is a matchup where we can, like, go a little bit slow and be okay. Need 2 more trims here. Do we bring in Veil? I mean, Veil only stops their counter spells, and when they have fires out, we don't have to worry about their counter spells. I don't think that's necessary. This hand's great. Fabled Passage is a little bit awkward, so we're like hoping to draw another land that comes into play untapped. Dang it, Bobby. Dang it, Bobby. All right, any untapped land next turn lets us turn 2 Reef, which would be great. It is worth noting that, like, if this was a Goose, we could guaranteed turn 2 Reef without drawing a land, but I think Grazer is better generically against the Deafening Clarion deck. So it feels bad to be a turn behind, but eh. Hey, have a good day, Ivy and the Bear. Yeah, I agree, Stormy Waters. The reason I am most drawn to the 4-color oven deck is it has sweet oven things, but also just gets to play Oko. That's this format. It feels like you're putting yourself at a pretty significant disadvantage if you're not playing Oko in this format. So enjoy finding $50 and $60 Okos in paper. Is there a list for the 4-color oven deck? Yeah, all of the deck lists that you see listed in my stream title you can find the deck list for before we play them on the deck queue on my website, bit.ly/deck queue for short. They had them on TCG Player for like 55. Yeah, I mean, Wizards knew what they were doing. Like, this banned and restricted list was really good for selling cards. They're gonna sell a lot of booster packs. All right, if we draw an untapped land here, we get to Quasiduplicate this, which would be great. So I'm gonna decline putting this into play because this puts it into play tapped, and then I can play it as my land for the turn. I got my Okos for $18 at release by being an early adopter of the Teamer deck. Yep. Yeah, people who bought the Teamer deck in paper, you were ahead of the curve on Oko being busted, so. People who built the Teamer deck on Magic Arena, though, I feel kind of bad for them, though. Because, like, the Teamer deck on Arena is the Teamer deck in Standard's pretty bad, and your wild cards are locked in. He's 75 on TCG Player. All right, yikes. Oh, that makes sense that their market price is off. Because it just shifted, right? You think this is a point where we steal fires? Maybe? I don't know. It might be right to steal their lands. Like, what if I just take a bunch of their lands? Yeah, the Teamer... Oh, so here's the thing for people that don't understand how metagames work. Teamer Oko was a good deck because Teamer Oko was good against Golos Field. So Wizards banned the Teamer deck's best matchup while banning nothing from the Teamer deck's worst matchup. Well, I think we're dead. I agree that a lot of the mythics are otherwise constructed playable. I agree with that assessment. And we're just dead here, right? I needed to hit a land for Agent to even have a chance. I can't steal Sarkin. I only have 6 mana. I would not consider the Teamer Oko deck as a competitive choice. It is not on the table of decks I'm playing in the MCQ this weekend. I think if you really like the Teamer Oko deck, it's fine to play at FNM and stuff like that, but if your goal is playing to win, that deck is no longer a competitive option. I'd also probably argue that if your only goal in Magic is playing to win, you should probably find a different hobby, because Magic's like pretty close to roulette when it comes to how much variance it has. So like playing Magic with your only goal being to win tends to end up making you sad most of the time. Yeah, they banned a card 5 days before the tournament, and they don't implement the ban until 2 days before the tournament. Feels bad, man. Hey, at least Risen Reef doesn't technically draw cards here. Yeah, I agree, Marty. The places that Mythgard puts in-game variants are very good spots. I would be from my understanding, the Green-Black Adventures deck has a very bad blue-green food matchup. And the blue-green food matchup. Would you consider poker less luck dependent than Magic? I would on average, mostly because there's a much larger bluffing element to poker than you find in Magic. In Magic, you often just can't bluff because your opponent is often in a position where they are obligated to call your bluff or they lose the game. So bluffing is a lot less effective in Magic than it is in poker by comparison, in my experience. Well, we're going to be in a good spot here. I get to go ahead and Cavalier, and then hold up Disdainful Stroke this turn. Yeah, that's an ideal Magic format for most people, where the decks that they like also happen to be competitive. And part of the reason why can you explain, how would you explain pros with 66% win rates? I mean, 66% win rate is like pretty low. It means you're like, a 66% win rate means you're less than a coin flip to do well in any given event. The best of the best in Magic are less than a coin flip to do well at any given Magic tournament. Magic has an incredibly absurd amount of variance, and that's a good thing for the most part. Like, a lot of people hear you talk about variance, and like, part of the reason most of us like Magic is because of the variance it has. And like, we talked about poker versus Magic a second ago. I actually find poker incredibly boring. That's why I don't play it, because playing poker correctly and optimally involves a lot of waiting, which I'm not a huge fan of. You know, different strokes for different folks. I've been playing both poker and Magic for 20 years, not close, much less variance in poker. I agree. Look at our baby, isn't he cute? Most babies are kind of pudgy and ugly, let's be honest. I'm sure your baby at home is cute, but most babies, they're pudgy and ugly.
It's difficult to work.
Except for my kids. My kids were adorable when they were babies. Now, I don't think there's things you can do to change the Temur Oko deck. You can't aggro decks like blue-green food. You have to try and go toe-to-toe with them, and the Temur deck can't do that. Is this deck good? I mean, it's got 8 accelerants, Once Upon a Time, and Oko in it, right? Like, it's playing all the good cards, right? Which of your kids was uglier? I'm not answering that question. Both my kids were beautiful, because they were mine. I personally enjoy the variance in Magic as opposed to other coin flip mechanics and other CCGs. Well, I mean, like, just because other CCGs do variance poorly doesn't mean Magic does variance well. I think if a game like Magic got introduced today with the amount of resource variance and non-games that it has, it would probably be laughed out of most game design places. I think the only reason we're okay with like the resource variance that happens in Magic is partially due to Stockholm Syndrome. It's like, all right, this is how it's always been and we're used to it. Bottom. Yeah, Twitch chat's Twitch chat's definitely my least favorite child. I'm not gonna tell you who my favorite is, but Twitch chat, you're my least favorite of the 3. That is hurtful. How many times a day do we land on the variance discussion? Quite frequently. Daddy called us ugly. We're the best loser. Woo! I mean, like, okay, to give you perspective, like, Twitch chat, being my least favorite child makes you, like, you know, you're my least favorite of like my top 4 people. There's Christy, the 2 kids, and then you. So like, you're still important.
It's not poison. Trust
Listen, Twitch chat. There's a Pokemon in my Pokemon Go named after you, okay? I appreciate you. I didn't walk it back. I just pointed out the facts that you didn't want to hear. It's a Politoed. I could butter it up and tell you that it's like not a silly Pokemon, but it's a Politoed. You're frogs, okay? All right, what am I doing here? I think it's just Oko again. I don't really want to play Tamiyo and then get Questing Beasted next turn. So I think we just like play second Oko. Make this a 3/3 go.
Surely you see the humor here.
Yeah, Mythgard has a built-in deck tracker. It also has... No, well, the upper left is an in-game event log. If you click the arrow on the right middle of the Mythgard stream, there's an in-game deck tracker too. So the top left is an event log. There's also a deck tracker on top of the event log. We're important because we pay his mortgage. You definitely do that. And I appreciate you.
Your new look is enchanting.
The big red deck we're going to play today is one of my favorite things in Mythgard at the moment. It's super interactive and draws a lot of cards. How do you go about brewing for a new format like Pioneer? You just start making stuff up and see what sticks. I think I'm naming Cavalier here. Just want like a beefcake. Swing and a miss, but we had a Quasiduplicate for later, so that's nice. Questing Beast does stay legendary, which is great. Keeps those subtypes. How much do my other kids contribute to the mortgage? They're like negative contributions to the mortgage. That's a wrinkle dinkle. All right, well, Broco's like my last resource here, so I think we're keeping him alive. Was that a good draw, chat? What do we think? And I would love to draw Cavalier of Thorns with this Tamiyo.
Let me aid your research.
Ding, ding, ding. Hashtag sometimes lucky. And I'm just going to go ahead and plus this to 4, I think.
Welcome to the feast.
How many shillings to get invited to the next Twitch chat family dinner? Twitch chat family dinner. That sounds miserable. Brutal. Alright, so this lets them Foulmire Knight kill the Cavalier here. Then I get to put something back on top of my deck, so I guess it's like not all bad.
My aim and their claws, you're done.
With my aim and their claws, you're done. I have the 7th land in my hand, so I guess we just Agent of Treachery here. Yeah, I need to do a tutorial video at some point, Torcat. You should probably, if you haven't actually loaded the game up yet, if you just load the game up, the game has a very good tutorial at the start of it.
I see you don't share my
Does a good job of teaching you what you need to know. Tamiyo doesn't have anything useful in there. Have I not flipped over any Risen Reefs yet? That's wild. I guess we're naming that.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Wow, 0 reefs in the top 28 cards. The best place to get feedback about Pioneer ideas, relative to me, is in the subs Discord server. There are a ton of people talking about Pioneer stuff there, myself included. What happened to Dota Underlords? They're supposed to be doing a whole game revamp on Underlords tomorrow. Agent of Treachery is kind of like a kindergarten bully. It takes your favorite toy. Something like that.
Get out of the way if I were you.
I feel like we're in a pretty dominating spot here. These blue-green decks are just like, it feels like I can just like close my eyes and pick blue-green cards at random and just like end up with a playable deck. These ramp decks are just they're just so dumb. Or like take their questing beast, take their Vivian. Good luck, Godspeed. All right, so how am I sideboarding here? I think I want the Veils and the Aether Gust. What do I want to trim? Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that, Ace. There's like nobody else is going up over the top of what we have going on here. The red mid-range decks have been my favorite in Mythgard. The big red deck we're going to play today is one I've really liked. I think I'm going to trim this. I don't want to get run over by it. What else do I want to cut here? Honestly, once upon a time, if I'm bringing another cheap interaction is probably fine. Need three more cuts here. I feel like it could just be some of these planeswalkers. This turns off Questing Beast and their Innkeepers, which feels important. Pioneer doesn't go live until later this afternoon, Dual Josh. All right, panic trims, trim around the edges, panic trims. The ticker's counting down. Panic trim around the edges. Have you tried drafting in Mythgard yet? I did one, but I'm not a huge limited person in general. Hey, Soul of Dragonite, welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Hope you're having an excellent Wednesday wherever you're at. If your first deck isn't called Covered Wagons, you're failing us. Insert Oregon trail jokes here. Magic's an incredibly low variance game. Super de-duper low variance. I guess. Yeah, I agree, Torcat. Punished. I don't really need that. What magic card lines up best with dying of dysentery? That's a good question. There's memes to be made by answering that question. Is smallpox legal in the new format? It probably is, right? It is not, that said. Maybe Ribbon. I'm hoping that there's going to be good enough aggro decks to keep all those things in check. I'm back and saltier than ever. Thanks for the 10-month snowstorm. I think I'm just casting this turn. It's like using my mana.
I will invert the world to what kings grovel. It's not poison. Trust me.
Mono blue tempo / devotion could be great. Yeah, I've got one of those in the deck queue. I agree with that one. Seems reasonable. Good to be here. Fan, I've been having fun with Mythgard. Are you taking Cut the Lines for today? Got a sweet red purple deck that I would like to share. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm always up for anything for the right price. I don't have pricing necessarily strictly set up for Cut the Lines in Mythgard. I don't know exactly what I want that to look like.
Gaze into my face and put on your true shape.
I'm gonna add Mythgard decks to the actual queue here soon. We can track them a little bit better. They don't have Questing Beast. Oko gets out of this turn alive by chump blocking. Maybe that's not good enough. I guess I have second Oko in my hand too. Feels dead, man. Yeah, I don't think we beat this card from this position.
I will survive.
Just mulliganed low and didn't have much action going on to start there. Name my poison, sir. All right, so the two decks I have in today are sitting on 25, I believe, so let's say 50, Soul of Dragonite. And remember, if you want to wait till the next stream or just add it to the queue in general, it's only 10 bucks. So cutting's always more expensive if you want it now. Capital peak. We're capitalism without the trampling on human rights here. Do I have a god account for Mythgard? I don't have a god account for Mythgard, but I do have a credit card. The ultimate god account. Insert whale noises here. I have a credit card. I think I'm going to bottom that so that way I can gust on 2 into this on 3 into hopefully this on 4. What about your right to not be timed out? That's what I think about that. Punchworthy beat me to it. I was going to time you out for asking about your right to not be timed out, but then Ahmad beat me to it. I love Hoaglandia. Y'all are great. Again, just like casting this on anything here because I know I'm spending my mana next turn. Just want to like slow them down a little bit. Get my 1-for-1, spend my resources. Blue source. Blue source. Blue source. Magic's an incredibly low variance game, chat. Next to 0 variance, high skill. Are there any secrets you need to learn before you become a mod? No, not really. Use actual bans sparingly. Is the only real rule. What about my right to have my Mopey mid-range deck run over by Modern in 3 turns? Yeah, you definitely have the right to that. That's like a tapped blue source, kinda. So next turn we'll get to Quasi. If they have a questing beast here, we're in a lot of trouble. There's like taking 9 to the face. What about my right to enjoy playing Tron? Cardboard Tech, thanks for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. I don't fault anyone for enjoying terrible Modern decks that generate bad play patterns. It's not the player's job to balance Modern. One full Hoglandian coming up. You should never get upset at the Tron player. You should get upset at Wizards of the Coast for letting Tron be legal. Can I hit some lands here? Preferably blue lands? Good golly. Good lord. Miss on your land one more turn here, please. Please miss for one more turn. Hopefully they like hold up Murderous Rider this turn, hoping to blow out my Quasiduplicate Jumpstart and we get to Veil of Summer and just punish them. No blocks, go to 7. All right, go to 8. It's my favorite brew for Pioneer so far. I think I'm most looking forward to Elves because that's a deck I've really enjoyed in Modern. That's not quite good enough. And hopefully Coco Elves will be good in Pioneer. So next turn we're gonna start chump blocking. Blue sources. Give me blue sources. Cavalier's a good hit too. I've not played a land yet for the turn, right? So I can decline this and then draw it. And play it. As of last night, I had responded to all submissions that I'd seen. Check your spam folder. Have you sent it in today or super late last night? I did not. All right, going to 5. Pioneer goes live this afternoon. We'll be playing it here in Hoglandia tomorrow and Friday morning. How does Mythgard feel as free to play compared to MTGA? I know as a paying player, the economy in Mythgard feels very comparable to MTGA. I don't have free to play experience on any games. Insert whale noises here. Wow, that's unfortunate. Holy crap. So I haven't played a land yet this turn, so we'll decline so we can play that out. You should link the deck list that you're donating for, Soul Dragonite, in the donation comment. All right, I think we're actually stabilizing here though, right? Like I feel like even with that miss, we're still pretty okay. Like double Cavalier here with Veil of Summer up seems great. I feel like they're solidly in a can't win position. 27 cards in my deck. Yeah, I write off my purchases in every digital card game off my taxes. This is my job. This is my job. Any chance channel points will be used to submit or bump decks? Yeah, there's already options in there to bump decks, Cordemi. There are a lot of points, but they are there. It's 10,000 points to bump by 1 point, 30,000 points to bump by 5 points, and 50,000 points to bump by 10 points.
Nature will take back what rightfully belongs to it.
Treat code should be good through tomorrow, I believe. So unfortunately, even though this creature is dealing the damage, this trigger is green, so Veil of Summer doesn't do anything here. Maybe it doesn't show you rewards that you don't have enough points for. That would be weird.
Watch out.
That would be a strange decision. Oh, there's another Cavalier in my bin. I just want Oko though. I think I just want Oko. I have another Cavalier in my hand already. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana next turn. Plus a Gilded Goose, which is great. Yeah, maybe mobile only shows you the options that you have enough points for. I've not played a land yet this turn, so I'm going to decline so I can play that out as my land for the turn. Hey, look, an Agent of Treachery. Let's fetch with this and make sure I have a land in my deck to get. I do, sweet. Thanks. Can I borrow that for a second? I appreciate you. Oh, you know what? I wonder if mobile doesn't show the custom rewards then. So like the first 3 rewards are built-in rewards to Twitch. I bet that's it. We have copies of 4 mana Jace in our deck that we have to find. But basically, we're gonna stop quasi-duplicating the Cavaliers at this point and start quasi-duplicating the Agent of Treacheries. Is the goal. So we'll just like take their stuff. What's in my bin? Do I care if this dies? What if I just let this die and put Quasiduplicate on top? In. We did win a game via, I think we've won one. We've won at least 2 games via self-mill at this point. Hey, Rollins, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We've been playing this one for almost 2 hours, but this deck actually seems really good. Mythgard is the name of the game we're playing later today. After we're done with standard. So I'm gonna play the last one and let this one run long, because I think maybe I should consider something like this for the event this weekend. Being able to win via self-mill feels like an interesting go over the top strategy, which is reasonable against seems probably reasonable against the food decks. Yeah, I agree. I had low expectations going into this deck, and it's been very surprising. Yeah, I mean, like, pick your favorite Oko deck is probably the correct choice. How does it line up against Oven? You destroy the Oven deck. You have a bunch of cheap ways to gain life. You have Oko. You have 3 main deck copies of Tamiyo that says they can't make you sacrifice stuff. Like, they are not particularly happy pandas. All right, here's mono red. Let's see if this runs us down. This could run us down here. Bans go live tomorrow morning. That is correct. If you only strive for mediocrity, you're often pleasantly surprised. Correct. When you set your expectations low, it's easy to excel them. Yeah, Quasiduplicate is a fantastic over-the-top card. I agree. Well, I was hoping one of those would survive. Hopefully we draw an untapped land here. That's super unfortunate. Yeah, I restart between every deck. I don't really have a deck I really like in the standard format, Wild. I kind of like the various oven decks, but I don't think they're probably not competitive or as competitive as I would like. I'm really interested to see how Pioneer does. There's a lot of hype around it, but I'm willing to bet it's probably still going to be not nearly as popular as arena content. I would be pleasantly surprised if Moto content could ever be close to as popular as my arena content. This deck runs Fabled Passage because it's playing triple green and triple blue cards. Brawl's not available till tomorrow's update. Well, if they have a 4th land, this Tamiyo's probably about to bury us. I don't think the small card pool is to blame. I think bad designs are to blame. Last standard format, my favorite format was when it was at its smallest. So I think blaming the size is misplaced.
Open your heart to the magic that dances around you. Surely you see the humor here.
And yeah, I think they made the format more narrow and worse when they banned Field of the Dead. I think I'm going to hold off on that one for now. Am I dead if I block like this? I don't think so. All right, I mean, as far as land drops go, that one's pretty good, right? If I do this, it makes me just a normal food, I believe, right?
Gaze into my face and put on your true shape.
So dead to shock here. Oh, we're dead to this, right? We're dead on board. It might have been right to just gain 3 there. It might have been right to just make a food with Oko and gain 3. I don't know. We were pretty far behind there, so we couldn't draw any lands, right? Magic's a game with a lot of variance in it, as we like to point out. Good morning, troll. Tamiyo is probably the cut here. Rest of this seems pretty fine. Remember when Chupacabra was playable removal? It seems like a different lifetime, right? I don't think they need to ban Oko. People saying they need to ban Oko, I think your hate is misplaced. Nah, Riot's an awful company, and I don't play their games. There's plenty of good games out there. I don't need to play games made by Riot. Is Magic Online ever really alive, or is it just less dead sometimes? I think they should have banned Goose and Grazer. They also could have alternatively banned Nissa and Hydroid Krasis. I actually think Oko is a pretty interesting and sweet card. I did see the Underlord changes. Unfortunately, with Pioneer being released, I don't have time to try Underlords. I'll probably revisit it at some point, but like, this Pioneer announcement is like as big as a set release. Maybe bigger, honestly. Definitely Skullmorn. I always take a look at things before we play them. Is Arboreal Grazer okay? No, I don't think so. I think 1-mana accelerants in general are just not okay. One of the things we talked about a lot last season was I was looking forward to just having less Landware Elves in the format. Every playable card kills decks. Saying this card invalidates other strategies so you can't play them is silly. Every good deck and every good card invalidates other things. I think Oko's super sweet, and I think past being super sweet, it's currently selling booster packs, so keeping it around is more than fine. Friendo. It's very similar, Rabner. Let's just tempo them here. Hopefully we're going to untap and draw land that's untapped and play Cavalier. Protection from understanding, something like that. Alright, hopefully this finds a Quasiduplicate. If you look at my schedule, it says Mythgard. So I am planning to play Mythgard later today. We'll be playing Pioneer tomorrow morning. As always, you can find my schedule, including what games and formats I'm planning to play when, on my website. What decks we're playing, what formats we're playing. I think Pioneer will be as degenerate as Modern to start. I expect this format with no ban list to be very combo oriented. I'm also hoping, maybe foolishly, that they are going to manage the format with the ban list so it's not just a linear format.
Whatever. Figure it out on your own.
That is my hope. Pioneer will be on Magic Online when it comes back up today. Comparing Oko to a removal spell shows a fundamental misunderstanding of why Oko is good. You're right, Oko's not comparable to a removal spell, and that comparison doesn't make sense, in my opinion. I think even if control decks are able to thrive in this format because Oko exists, I think that's a huge net negative to Magic and Standard, because Standard formats where control decks are competitive are miserable. Hey Stinger, thanks for sending the Pokemon Go invite. I don't play a ton, but I play a few times a week usually. I think we're dying, chat. Without Wicked Wolf, perhaps this deck wants Wicked Wolf in the 75. This matchup seems hard. I'll bet we want Wicked Wolf in the 75. Dig through time. I do really hope. I hope dig. Here's a hot take. Dig through time's probably unbannable in modern, and I bet it'll be fine. Be fine in historic, or pioneer, or whatever these things are called. I have no idea what these things are called. All right, this counters the 4/3 as well. So, bye Felicia. If the red matchup's hard, we could play a third Cerulean Drake in the sideboard, potentially. Let's start with this and see what we draw. Hopefully, we get 3 shots at a Quasiduplicate here, which is great.
Figure a way out of
Is it possible you should have kept a goose a couple turns ago that you scryed away to just gain life? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, I forget what our board was at the time. Did I already have the Cavaliers? If I didn't have Cavalier, if I had Cavalier, I should have kept it. If I didn't have Cavalier, I definitely should have bottomed it. How are we supposed to play Brawl? Wizards doesn't want me to play Brawl. Wizards wants me to play Standard, so I'm going to be a good boy and play Standard. Alright, did do a 3 damage spell. Not dead to that. Top deck says. Moto downtime is supposed to last till 2 p.m. Central, which is another 4 hours from now, 3.5 hours. Am I dead yet? I mean, okay, so wanting multiplayer Brawl is a reasonable thing to want. However, expecting it to happen on Arena is pretty unreasonable. Like, the amount of engineering and architectural work that will take to implement 4 players into Arena is probably more work than implementing... it's probably more work than implementing all of the sets in Pioneer. Yeah, Burn's probably great. It's just Burn's not exciting, Dad Confidant. People want to build the sweet decks to start. They don't want to build Burn. The player base must have had a bad lawyer to only get custody of Brawl once per week. Yeah, anyone who thinks eventually... Listen, all right, here's what I'm going to tell you. We were promised a friends list, what, months ago at this point? We were promised the vault was a temporary solution, and now we've hit release with it. So these are things that they promised in specific timelines that they then missed. How long do you think eventually is going to take? Like, no joke. Like, if the things that they promised soon are taking forever, things that they promise eventually are like decades away. Take it easy, they're a small indie company, yeah, basically. They took one of my Cavaliers, chat. All right, well, we're bottoming that one, because otherwise they're going to take it next turn. That's another software thing I really appreciate about Mythgard. If you go to the Mythgard website, they have a very clear roadmap on their website, which is great. These are the things they want to do in the deadlines they plan to accomplish them by. Oh, we drew 2 cards, basically, which is good because our hand is real bad. If we draw a Risen Reef next turn, we can go Reef plus Quasiduplicate, which is great. Soul of Dragonite, you got it. It's up there on my screen. I miss them sometimes. All I ask is that you keep perfect grade. He's a good boy. Yeah, I have Celestial Dragon. I can definitely add that in. Block, block. Yeah, quite possibly Spreading Seas. I don't think I played last game particularly well. I think there were a number of mistakes that I made.
The only thing to fear. My assistants are painfully.
All right, so I'm going to start with this because if we draw a Cavalier, I want to play that or a Drake. Yikes. All right, well, hopefully we draw something meaningful next turn. Am I chump blocking with the Risen Reef? I think I might be chump blocking with the Risen Reef. Because I can't gain life currently. They took one of our Cavaliers earlier off of a trigger. Yeah, I mean, we have 3 Quasi-duplicates in hand, I guess. We need something good to do with them, right? They're not like they're not currently useful. Taking 3 here in combat, down to 14. Our life total is still relatively high. And like copying Gilded Goose isn't useful because they have Tybalt in play. So they shocked the one that was blocking this so they could make mana and have it not die. Because otherwise, this would have had a damage marked on it, and it would have died when they made mana with it. They plan to sack these? Why didn't they give their things counters? If they would have used her 0, they could have gotten another token out of Tybalt, right? Good lord. Oh. Trying this deck in a casual queue, opponent has 2 Hushbringers on the 3rd and 4th turns. Yep, never beaten that card. Sometimes they want it more than you, and you got to be okay with that. All right, so I just quasi-duplicate and draw 4 here. Yeah, buying packs is what Mithril turns into. I think I just quasi here. I could like Oko into make a food, play Grazer. There's 29 cards in my deck. I think I'm just doing that. Well, yep. Yep. Once an Oko here, I think I want to keep my extra Grazers as potential blockers later. No, I guess once digs me... Alright, let's spin those. Once digs me to a Cavalier, and there's 25 cards in my deck. So, like, if I Cavalier... They have a Torbrand here. They have a Torbrand we're dead. I've been having a lot more trouble with UG than I was having with Golos. Yeah, I don't know. I think the ban list update was bad for every deck that I liked playing, and it feels really frustrating. Is there a chance I can combo kill them with Jace next turn?
What do we always say? Fight fire with fire.
So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, they just milled 1. That's good for me. So if I block here, I take 8. And then I fetch down to 23. I draw to 22. What if I draw a Cavalier? I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. 11 lands. I can Cavalier double Quasiduplicate is lethal. So if I draw Cavalier for the turn, they're dead. Or we win the game, more importantly. Yeah, each Cavalier is 9. How many Cavaliers are in here? 1, 2, 3. All right, so if I hit with once, I have 21 cards. I think if we hit the Cavalier here, we're good. So we've got 21 shots with 3 hits. All right, so there's the Cavalier. So this Cavalier... Yeah, we're good. They're dead. We won the game with Jace. Because this Cavalier mills 9, and we have 20 cards. The Cavalier does 9. Each Cavalier does 9. And then Jace does 3, and then wins the game. That's sick. Is this deck good? Am I playing this weekend? Are we, like, thinking about this and playing this weekend? His third does win. It draws a card. Oh, that's true. You're right. The deck has to be empty, but we're still good, right? Because there's 20 cards in the deck. I could also quasi-duplicate a third time here if I needed. Yeah, I will be streaming my matches this weekend. And that's good, right? There's 2 cards. This mills, target player puts 2 cards and then draw a card.
It's a matter of giving.
Here be monsters.
And we could have milled 9 more there, right? We could have overkilled but didn't need to. All right, so thoughts on things that are going on here. I think no Wicked Wolf in the 75 is probably not good. Did we need Hydroid Krasis at any point there? I feel like without a Nissa, the Hydroid Krasis is kind of unnecessary, huh? Is that crazy to think? Can I just turn these into Wicked Wolves? Yeah, I felt like Agent of Treachery was the better go over the top card than Hydroid Krasis. Seemed reasonable. So I think I want at least 2 of those. Do I need Shifting Ceratops for Veil of Summer, Mystic Dispute, Aether Gust? This is probably unnecessary, huh? Yeah, Wicked Wolf is good. It's good with Quasiduplicate too, so I think I'm gonna cut these. What do we think of that? I kind of wouldn't mind a 3rd Cerulean Drake, because the red matchup didn't seem easy, but like we also just like added Wicked Wolf, which should make the red matchup better. What do we think about the mana? I think the mana was okay. Dino's good against Oko. It's not good against Oko. The Dino just gets blocked by all of Oko's 3/3s. It's possible that I want more Once Upon a Time. That card's very good. It helps you hit your 1-mana accelerants more consistently. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to fit in here, so I ended up trimming some of them. You enter the treat code in the store. If you're on iOS, you need to use a non-iOS device, like log in a web browser on your desktop. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to put some thought into this off stream tonight. We'll probably play this again before Saturday, either tomorrow or Friday, but I feel like after playing that, like looking at what this deck is doing, the way this deck is going up over the top of other mid-range decks in the format seems really appealing. And then the food package plus Gust plus Cerulean Drake seems like a good method of preventing people from getting under us. So like, obviously this is 62 cards right now, but I was really impressed with this, and I think this is something that I'm going to consider for the weekend. I don't know if we hit the other food deck. I feel like on paper, the Quasiduplicate plan with Agent of Treachery should be pretty okay there. But that's definitely a matchup I'm gonna want to play before I commit to playing this. But like, none of the decks I've played feel like they're stellar there, so like, you know, there's that too. All right, that was a long set. We're gonna go ahead and run a quick ad break here. When we get back, believe it or not, we're gonna play another Oko deck. So this is a mostly mono green deck with a small blue small blue splash for Oko. I'm gonna restart my client, post the deck list, places, all that. So don't go anywhere. Thanks for hanging out, folks.